Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm going to be showing you guys the probably best deck in the meta right now for in terms of like being able to counter everything that's in this meta. I feel bad using it because it is Mega Knight, but man, this deck can counter pretty much everything. It's a really good deck, and also on top of this, I'll kind of tell you guys how to beat this deck because I know, in mid-ladder, Mega Knight is an absolute menace. It's a lot of people have it over leveled and it's super hard to play against, so I'll try to drop some tips as well on how to beat Mega Knight in this video. I'm also going to be showing you guys two different versions of this deck, so I would watch maybe the third matchup. I think is probably when I'll show you guys the other deck, or maybe the second matchup, we'll see. But show you guys two different versions of this deck that you can run. It's freaking crazy. This deck is so good. He's going to play his Little Prince, but he messes up. He used his ability a little bit too late there. We'll just play our archers. Now, the nice thing about this deck is, you can kind of really mix things up. You have a bit of minor spam, but you also have the heavy Mega Knight push that you can go for with the Prince behind. One tip I'll give you guys when you're playing with this deck, though, is don't overcommit with your Mega Knight. I feel like some people, when they're using Mega Knight, they rely on it for too many different things. You don't want to do that. So, just kind of be smart about when you play your Mega Knight. We're up against E-Giant. We'll play our Mega Knight in the back here. We have our evolved archers if we need. I think we're going to play our Prince in the back here as well. He's going to play a Lumberjack. We're going to take a bit of damage here from that Lumberjack. So we're going to split our archers right here. We'll take this damage, but that's okay. I'm not super worried about that. We got some crazy stuff coming his way. Okay, he's so dead. The evolved archers, honestly, are so crazy. We get the miner on the tower, so he has to zap. Because he zapped, we're going to go for the minions. We could have went for the wall breakers, but I feel like we can probably get more done with the minions. Now we'll go for the wall breakers because he used his tornado. This is what I mean. Like, you can defend with this deck against pretty much anything, and then just like have the craziest push. And honestly, the evolved archers make this deck so OP. It's crazy. We'll start our Little Prince in the back here. When you're playing defense with this deck, just start your Little Prince or your Prince in the back here. When you have your Prince in the back like this, it's super hard for them to make a push in that lane because obviously he has his dash going. I think this guy gave up. I think there's probably no better way for me to show you guys that this deck is amazing than to make my opponent give up super early. So that's pretty awesome. We'll go into the next one and I'll try to give some tips on how to beat Mega Knight if you're ever up against it. But good game. Let's just go for the miner for a little bit of chip damage right here off the start. You don't want to play your Mega Knight first play. I mean, like, sometimes you might get lucky and get some really good damage with it, but I would almost never play your Mega Knight first play just because, like, that's such a big commitment to make starting off. Let's just wait a little bit. We'll play our archers back here. We could Mega Knight on that musketeer if he stacks anything up. Pretty good fireball by him, but he does miss our archers. That's another thing when you're playing, just in general, a good tip. Don't rush playing your fireball or your spells. Try to get as much value as you can. You don't necessarily have to rush to kill anything. Like, see how my Little Prince and my archers were walking up there? He fireballed because he saw my Little Prince, but like the reality was he didn't really need to rush that fireball. I know sometimes you want to get a bit of tower damage, and that's totally okay, but just kind of, don't rush anything. We're up against Hog Cycle. We'll just drop the Mega Knight right there on the Hog Rider, and now it's going to be a pretty annoying push for him to defend, and we'll go for the miner here. Okay, we get it right on the musketeer. That's pretty crazy. That Mega Knight's going to get on the tower. There's no way he doesn't. When that musketeer locks, now we go for the wall breakers. We're going to get that on tower. Even, like, no matter what he plays, that's going to connect. And that's crazy damage. And we even get the Mega Knight jump off. That's so crazy. Again, just like in our last matchup, your Prince is a really good counter to certain things. I'm going to play my Prince here just because I want to get that counter push going. His musketeer locks on the tower, but that's okay. The Prince will charge. I think we're going to slow down a little bit. You don't want to just spam when you're using this deck. I think our archers are going to lock on the tower here. Okay, he plays Evo Skeletons. That's okay. I don't think we're going to have to counter those. We'll just wait a second. Let's play our Little Prince in the back here. See, even though we're down in damage, I'm really not that worried. You can just spam with Mega Knight, which is ridiculous, but see, he fireballed again, and I understand, like, you want that chip damage, but he shouldn't have done that because of our minions. Now that we have the Mega Knight going, we're going to play our Magic Archers right here at the bridge. We get one minion on tower, but that should honestly be game. We'll go wall breakers opposite lane. And yeah, that's, like, don't make that mistake where you're rushing your fireball or rushing your counters because, like, sometimes the chip damage isn't worth it. Let's start the Prince opposite lane. If he plays the Hog Rider and takes this tower, it's really not even a big deal. We'll go for the Mega Knight, but I think he's given up. Okay, he goes for the Hog Rider. See, we're just going to play our Little Prince right here. Let's go for the Miner on the tower. The Miner is what like really makes this annoying. It's honestly like it's so annoying to deal with. He's going to play a defensive Hog Rider. Honestly, that's actually like that was a pretty good kite by him. I do have to respect it, but he's going to have 2 princes to deal with now. So, let's use our Little Prince ability. Get rid of all those Evo skeletons. Right, guys, I'm also going to show you this deck using bats instead of Evo archers. Now, the reason for this is because I don't know if anybody else has the exact same issue, but Evo archers don't work for me in like challenges for some reason. Like the Evo just doesn't exist in challenges. So I'm going to use Evo bats instead. And so I swapped out minions instead of having minions. I'm using bats, and so that's just the only change. And obviously not Evo archers, but Evo bats instead, which are still pretty crazy, especially behind the Mega Knight. If they don't have arrows or, you know, like a spell to deal with them, you can get a pretty even positive elixir trade. Now, if you're ever up against this deck, the biggest thing that I would say is don't stack up your pushes, okay? Because they have Mega Knight, you know, if you, like, I play Mortar bait, right? So if I play my Skeleton Barrel and my Goblin Gang in the same lane, his Mega Knight's just going to completely obliterate that. And so you don't want to do that. And the other thing is you really need to save counters for the Mega Knight. So he has Knight. So playing against me, he should be playing his Knight every single time I have the Mega Knight, and only when I have the Mega Knight down. He should wait until my Mega Knight crosses the bridge, and then he should be playing his Knight. If he's not, he's going to get smoked, right? So that's kind of the way you beat Mega Knight, is you have to know what your counter is to it. And it sucks, but you just have to save it for, you know, every time you see the Mega Knight. If you know, like, I know a lot of you guys know I use Mortar bait, so when I'm up against Mega Knight, if I play my Goblin Gang, or I play my Knight, you know, in a push or whatever, and then all I have is a Goblin Gang to defend, I'm gonna get absolutely obliterated here because, you know, like I'm gonna be stuck playing like a Goblin Gang and then Spear Goblins to make his Mega Knight go around, and it's gonna do so much damage, and I'm gonna waste so much elixir defending, and then he'll probably just be back to a Mega Knight by the time it's all said and done. Let's go for our Evo Bats here with the Mega Knight. This is the push I'm talking about. That's super OP. We get an Evo Bat on the tower. Let's go for a Miner as well. Like, he's going to Tornado, but it's not going to do anything. And that's tower right there. We'll go for our Wall Breakers opposite lane. You can really get some good damage and kind of start to switch things up. He's going to go for Evo Knight. So again, like I was saying before, just to defend, we'll start our Prince right here in the back, because that's, you know, it's such a good way to defend. Let's play our Little Prince here. We're gonna get the Evo Knight down. We'll play our archers. He kind of poisoned a little bit early. Let's just go for the Miner right there on the tower. Try to make sure you change up where you place your Miner each time. I don't ever do it. Like, I always forget to, but you know, you guys are better than me, so just try to keep that in mind when you're playing your Miner. We're not gonna use our arrows to take down the tower, because, you know, where's the fun in that? So we'll just go for the Miner. He's gonna go for a poison. Let's go for our Prince right here. Then we'll play the Wall Breakers as well. Alright, let's go for our Little Prince ability here, and that should be game. Good game. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I want to give a little bit of a shout out here to Diego. I want to shout all of you guys out, obviously, but a little bit of a shout out here to Diego. Your comments have been amazing. I really appreciate it. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.